Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I realized my phone was about to go dead. My son brought in a charger, and I'm one of those ones when I'm on the phone, I'm like walking all over the place, walking around the house, and now I've got a leash, so it's
Right.
like
It's,
anxiety central.
it's tying you down. That's no
Yeah,
good at all. Thank you so much for talking to the Rockpit today. It's when I saw you announced for Blues Fest, I thought, I mean, that's one of the things about Australia, really. All kinds of music now in Blues Fest. It's you've not formed a blues
yeah,
band especially for the occasion, have you?
yeah. No, no, we're definitely excited and stuff. My two younger boys, they were born in all my boys were born in Australia, but they were born in Australia and they haven't been back basically since they were little
Oh,
super
wow.
toddlers and stuff. So they're coming with us, and so they're real excited about it. And they're actually going there early because they're going to see Jack Johnson. So they're real excited about that.
Yeah, cool.
And
Because you lived in Queensland for a while, didn't you?
yeah, I lived in down in uh down in by Sydney for a bit, and then in the Sunshine Coast
Mm.
a few years after that and
Cool.
stuff.
And you're back so soon. You're only here last year for the 40th anniversary of the first Suicidal Tendencies album. And
Well, it took me. Oh, sorry.
no, I was going to say we can't keep you away. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The irony is that we were trying to get back there for many years, and it wasn't going anywhere through the traditional route with promoters, and basically we're told that there was no interest and blah blah blah, and it's one of those ones like the 16-year-old punk rock kid comes out and gets really offended and says "fuck you," and then it's like I was like, okay, we're going to do it ourselves. And everyone's like, how are you going to do that? I go, I don't know, but we're going to do it. And when I was living on the Sunshine Coast, we did three shows in Sunshine Coast, Sunshine Coast, Byron Bay,
Right.
and the Gold Coast, and had a friend help set that up in Suprat. And so I got back on the phone with him. I was there in February last year, visiting my wife's family and stuff. And so we talked, and I was like, "Hey, can you help out?" And I started getting in touch with a bunch of my Australian friends. And I go, "This is the only way it's going to happen." So when Robert said he had some like a 2 week period that he could do something, what do you
Yeah.
want to do? And I was like, going, well, or I kind of got a schedule conflict, but I'll change it if we go to Australia. and so he said, okay. And so we called all the people that, that helped us out on the last tour. And, we're planning on doing a lot more stuff. And I plan on being there a lot more. And so we do the whole Psych Australia thing and doing it with this tour. And there's a few other things that we got coming on. So unfortunately, there'll be a lot more of me. So,
Yeah, that's fantastic news.
yeah.
Always great to have you over, and a wonderful connection as well. One of the things I've always loved about your music is your sense of humor. It's very. I mean, it was evident, I guess, in Suicidal Tendencies, but very evident in Infectious Grooves. Where do you get that from?
Um, my dad is not a comedian at all, but sometimes when things would be really bad, he goes, sometimes you just got to laugh about it.
Yeah.
And he goes, the worse it is, the longer it takes to laugh. But eventually, you got to be able to laugh about it, or you're not going to survive. And I think that's one of the ones I always kind of have is like, taking the approach like, it's fucked up, but let's make the most of it. And and it goes into different ways because like in the first Infectious song, we have the song "You Lie in Your Breast Egg," and my youngest son, when he was 2 years old, 3 years old in preschool, used to just start randomly singing that song, and he sounded like Froggy from the Little Rascals, like "Yeah, yeah, Frosty." So it didn't sound like he was singing, and yeah, he would just think this kid. He was very quiet. He would always say, I go, how was it? I didn't have any fun. Nobody played with me. And I'd be like, oh, wow. Every day, same thing. Then one day he goes, I go, how was it? It was so great. I played with Ethan and whoever this, and we went down the slide, and then we went on the tricycle, and then we did this and that. And it was awesome. And he's my best friend. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so great. And the next day, took him to school, and I was like, how was it? He goes, it's terrible. Ethan doesn't like me. He hates me. I didn't play with anybody. But he would all be by himself and do it and go down the slide. And he's, they had the day where the parents were
Yeah.
there, and I'm just, watching him, and he's just going down the slide. You lie, your ass stank. And I'm going, oh man, one of the teachers is probably like, Kobe, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you lie, your ass stank. And I'm like, okay. And not knowing like, whoa. So yeah, it's funny. It goes in a lot of different ways.
It does. It does. Fantastic to hear. How do you feel about being called a funk metal supergroup?
I think one of the things is titles are something that makes people easier to communicate sometimes,
Yeah.
and makes it easier to not communicate. But I think what our whole I guess approach and attempt is after we do these shows, when people describe it, that's not the way they're going to describe it.
Yeah.
They're going to say, "Dude, you fucking missed it." And that is the way that we want to be described. And so when you do that, that's not something you just get on the stage, and Robert can't, be like, oh, he's in Metallica, and Jay can't be like, oh, he did this and that. And all these people, saying, oh, I did this and that. It's that moment. And showing people what you love about music, what we love about Infectious, and bring it across where it's definitely fun, but it's, people like, oh, they're doing something different. It's definitely different. And, even having with Jay playing drums, he brings him into it. And it's just a lot of fun. And when you hear something like you love, you just like get the smile on your face. And I was saying, my kids went to the practice, and just going, dude, Robert was just beaming ear to ear the whole time. And it's like you see the love that's there, but there's also the pride, and like I say, ego is sometimes not the best word to use, but it is where you want to be the best possible that you can be, and that's the approach, to be like, oh wow, there's all these guys that have done all these things. It'd be like, dude, they were fucking great, where people are actually surprised, how good it is, and that's what our goal is.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much energy as well in your performances. It is. I mean, infectious is a great word, because that's how you light up the stage. And as you mentioned, we've got Robert on bass, got Dean over. I think Dave's playing guitar, isn't he? Dave Kushner?
Yeah, Dave Kushner. Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, Jay from Slipknot is joining you. It must be great for you guys to just all get out there and have a blast, especially down under, when we've actually got some warm weather for you.
Yeah. Well, if there's a lot of places you can go to that you may not want to be, but obviously I have my connection there, and my wife and her family and my kids and everything. And besides that, I made a lot of really good friendships, and it's the same thing. It's like, there's a lot of people here that I really like, and a lot I really don't like, and Australia is the same. But there's a lot of people that I think are really, that I feel very fortunate to have met, that are really great people. And, that I felt like I've known my whole life and have trust. And that's, in life, that's a great situation and opportunity to have. And a lot of people put a lot of faith and trust into me. And I really appreciate that, and I want to give that back and stuff, Yeah. So it's definitely exciting on many fronts.
Yeah, I mean, your music's always been a sort of part of my life, in that it's always been there in the background. And it's a bit of an anniversary, I think, this year as well. Was it 89 when Infectious Grooves formed? So
90, yeah, 91, the first record came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting close to that 35 years, we're all getting a little bit older.
Yeah. Fortunately, I started when I was -3 years old. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
One of
No,
the things,
the funny thing is when I was younger, I used to think 30 was like people 30, that's old. And literally when I grew up, I go, I don't think I'm live to be 30, where we grew up and stuff. But um, you'll sit there and there'll be people that in festivals and stuff where there's younger people and the people talk about it and they'll talk about, oh, this year, and you see them thinking like going, how fucking old is this person, And it's one thing when before, and then it's another thing after, and it's a great for people. I trip and I wonder if it was someone that if I was, younger when I first started getting into music, if I saw someone, there was nobody my age doing what I'm doing.
yeah.
And if I saw that, what I would actually think, like, someone just put them on some medication, or what. But I think one of the best things and fortunate is when you have a place where you play in festivals or places where people are going to see other bands, they bring their kids and they're there and you see them like when they see Suicidal, they're just like, whoa, this is different. And, it's like you see their parent, it's so many times they came with the shirt of the band they're going to see. And then they're on taking their kid over to the Suicidal to find the Suicidal stuff, So we call that a victory.
Yeah, it must be a great feeling as well to see young kids in the crowd. Always like getting that music down the generations. It's wonderful. We got a little radio show, Mike, and we ask a couple of questions and play some music of everyone that we get on there. So I just got a couple of questions we ask everyone.
Yeah.
So you're, I think, 1004th guest on the
Yeah.
show. So the first one is, and this one is, I'm dying to know the answer to this one. If you could have been a fly on the wall for the creation of any great album in the history of music, what would you love to have seen being made just to see how the magic happened?
Um, I would probably say Never Mind the Bollocks, the Sex
Mm.
Pistols.
Mm. I
And then
think that would have been quite chaotic.
yeah, I probably would not have understood because would have been super young at the time,
Yeah.
exactly all that it was going on at the time, politically, all that, the things and socially and stuff. But in hindsight, yeah, definitely much. And the other probably David Bowie, like Ziggy Stardust,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
that was kind of a
Fantastic.
crazy record for the time. And I was a super little when that happened, obviously, but to be able to, in my age, to be able to go back in time and to be able to see that, I think is a better way to phrase it for me. It would be really enlightening.
Yeah, I mean, two iconic albums that really did change things and create stuff. It's for me, it's a bit like when Suicidal Tendencies formed. It's just spawned so much. It's like one of those moments in history where a record or an album or a band can actually generate so much energy and so much inspire so many people.
Yeah, I think the longevity is the most important
Yeah,
thing because especially for us when we started, there was punk rock people. If they sold 5,000 records, they bragged about it, and there wasn't really a big audience, so we weren't trying to do something for an audience. We were doing something we loved, and I think that's in hindsight, that's why it is what it is. If we try to be more punk rock or we try to be more metal or we try to fit into what other people were doing, it would have been completely different.
yeah,
And I know that on my part, there's a lot of people like, we should do it more like this. And I'm like, nope, and they probably never admit it. But yeah, there's a lot of people that, a lot of times people just want to be liked and do something they think people will like. And I'd rather do something that I like.
yeah.
When I eat food, I don't sit there and go, do you like this? And someone says, they go, no, I hate it. And then I spit it out or something that I hate, like salmon, which I like.
It's I think you've got to do it for
You
yourself.
like it, but I
Otherwise,
don't,
yeah,
And I think, I think that's the way music should be. is like food. You know, you don't need to get confirmation for someone else. It's not what they say. It's like what it does to you personally. So when someone says, hey, that this record affected them in a very positive way and stuff, then I associate that with the very few records of the many that I've heard that have made me really did something for me. So I take that as a major compliment.
Thank you. New music, I've got to ask the question. It's been a while since the last record in 2000. Are you writing at the moment? Are you?
So Jay's flying back in from Nashville on Saturday, and we're recording a new song on Sunday.
Fantastic.
So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
Very excited. And that wasn't originally part of the plan. I think the whole excitement, the enthusiasm, the fun, and everything is carried over. That I went to Robert and I said, "Man, I'd love to record a song." And he's like, "Oh, schedules and everybody's schedules are crazy." And we're in Hawaii and we're, back and everybody's doing all kinds of stuff. And I was like, and he got back in the morning, he goes, anything's possible. So we got the studio to switch some people around to open up for us when they were closed and this and that, and flying in all from Canada, our engineer, and everybody's really excited. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to be able to. It's one thing to play songs, and like I said, for people to say, "Dude, they're actually a great band," but to be able to do a song and something new and people to hear it, and for us to have the opportunity to once again show people the difference between what we're doing and what other people do. I think that's what music's about, And it's like a restaurant. You know what? People like pizza. I'm not ordering a pizza, making a pizza restaurant because people like pizza. I want to do something else, And I'm more of a fusion kind of a guy. I like, the Asian fusion, whatever. The one that you see those restaurants that are different. You go there and you try something for the first time, and that's one of the things I with my kids. I say, you know what? I'm going back to food. Your favorite food, you wouldn't like it if you never tried it,
Yeah.
And then if you don't like it, then and you could avoid it, or try something else. So we're out there, not putting the pizza. We're not making the hamburgers. We're going to do something that's a little, we believe will be a little bit different. And people, when they hear it the first time, they'll go, might have to listen to that again. I'm not sure, and like we said, if they're driving, they're going to be, realize they're speeding and the speed camera is going to get them. And, to know that like this is something different, and to me that's what music is.
Yeah,
It should be something different.
I think you're right in life in general as well. I mean, I go into a restaurant, if there's something on the menu I've never tried before or never heard of, that's the thing I'm going to get. Whereas I'm not going to get a pizza every time I go in. So we got a final question for you, Mike. And then if you don't mind just doing a few just tags for the radio. An easy one to end the day. What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life?
Yeah.
Well, I think that most people, they find out right before they die, and they have an awareness that they probably knew the answer before, but they, had blinders on, or they turned their head the other way. It's like happiness. My dad said, what is happiness? Happiness is not something where it's just like, yay, it's great. Happiness is a journey where you're climbing over mountains and you're doubting yourself the whole time, and you prepare and you train for things. You work hard and you accomplish something and stuff. That journey there is usually very difficult. It's very painful and it's full of self-doubt. But when you accomplish it, that's happiness. Like, whoa, I was able to do this. And I think we get caught up in easy, simplistic definitions. And so we don't actually live life, we're killing time. And I think that, the meaning of life is to learn not to kill time and to actually take advantage of everything. And so much of life, what you do, you don't see it in the moment. It's like you go to the gym, you work out, you don't see it after you go. You know what I mean? There's so many things. It's like you build a high rise, they dig down, it's the opposite. You don't see it. It's something that you usually don't see for a while. And but the end is what it matters, and is being able to through to that path and that vision, and not letting people get you going someplace that you really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a wonderful answer. It's like when you're really up close to something, you don't see it, but as soon as you step back, and the further you step back, and you get to see everything and all the detail, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this morning. I've absolutely loved that. Can't wait till you guys get over in March and April.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, mate. Safe trip over,
No,
and
no problems.
catch you soon. Thank you.
Great. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.